made it beat, by the way.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of The Corner.
You feel me? I'm a LeBron fan, though. I am a fan.
Besides that, this is episode 23, no relation. This is nature versus nurture. But we're going to hop into it, man. We already had a little pre-conversation before this and all this, man. But, you know, pretty much with nature versus nurture, you know, you just want to look at different things in your life. So what run you up, like what nurtured you to become the person you are, or what environment were you in that made you the person you are? And we're just going to kind of break that down into, you know, several different topics, man, and just get into it and go for it. So just to start off from my right, we got
Mac. Silk.
K1.
Anthony.
It's another episode of The Corner. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
First off, there's. Oh, did you have something to say?
No, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say like there's a couple different ways to go at the topic. Like as far as nature versus nurture, like you could be talking about a person's nature versus how they were nurtured, or you could go against nature versus nurture as in like they were nurtured during their development stages, and then you got those that weren't so much nurtured and had to go more off of what was natural in nature to them, like what came naturally to them. And I think there's a interesting way that both of those directions kind of come back together a little bit to me. But I mean, if you had something to say, you can definitely.
I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know, my boy. When it comes to me, I feel like I'm actually a product of all the environments that I've stayed in. Like I feel like, how would I put it? Like I was raised in the hood.
Right.
Well, hold on. Let's go back. I was raised in the swamp. The hood,
Waycross,
and the suburbs. You feel me? So like, I got like
a little bit all of it.
yeah, like I can go anywhere and fit in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't hard for me to fit. Like I can go to Decatur out there, Flash Hills Road, Gresham Road. You feel me? Goddamn, East Hampton. You feel me? The hood. Fit in with everybody there, but then I can also go like to a little, you know what I'm saying, white suburbs town or something like that, city or whatever, and also fit, you know, radical, bro, you know what I'm saying, like, and also fit in that way too, bro, like, I don't know, it's just me, man, like, I ain't have no father figure really growing up, so, you know, my mom was technically like my father also until she got married, so, like, certain things that some men might not get from a woman's perspective, I get, you know, because I was raised by
your mom.
women.
Yeah, right.
I was raised by women. I said certain things, by the way, while you figured it out. Certain things, you know what I'm saying, just because I was raised by a woman, you know what I'm saying, I get.
Let me just say for the record, a lot of us were raised by women. Does not mean we understand them. That's. I just want to put that on the table. We do not understand them whatsoever. When we came out, it did not come with a manual. So I'm not saying I know anything about women. I'm still learning.
I'm not saying I know it all. You feel what I'm saying? But I know
like
certain
things.
You can get certain cues and certain things.
There's some types that are prevalent. You can just openly like, all right, so you can relatively judge how they gonna move. But
in the day, you still a man.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean,
for instance, me and my wife was having a conversation the other day. You feel what I'm saying? We was having a conversation the other day. Ain't gonna put nobody's names in it and all that.
That's true. We prefer that.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say we was having a conversation about, let's just say, you know, it's a dude, right? And a dude is in this relationship, right? But he had a female friend that he used to talk to back in the day who's in a predicament and she hits him up, and she's like, hey, look, I'm really down bad. I need some place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Can I come like crash with you?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? From a dude's perspective, some of them might be like, you know, I do have a girlfriend, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's cool, you know, I ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can come stay with me. But from that girlfriend's perspective, oh nah, dog. Like, what's going on? Like, hold up, why you got this whole nother female with a vagina? You know what I'm saying? It ain't like she got no dick in there. Why you got this whole female staying with you, my boy? Like,
you go first.
I feel like we're probably on the same.
Probably,
page.
yeah.
I feel like we're all generally
Like,
yeah, you probably too.
I was just gonna simply say that's common sense. That's not a man understanding.
Exactly. It could be common sense to most people, but sometimes you got them, you know.
Well, I think the
wouldn't
problem
call that
is
understanding a woman. I would call it just natural. I mean, obviously he doesn't have it, but it's common sense.
well, or you just come from a place of where you just a helpful person, but still. You don't want to put yourself in that position to where anything could be misconstrued for anything other than the fact I'm just trying to help a friend out, especially if you're in a relationship.
So I mean, we definitely off topic with it, but like just say for instance, even if you and your girl were friends with a female, it's still not gonna pan out. You know, it's because it's still just gonna be like she's still a woman.
As a single dude, you can half-ass get away with that. But when you got another whole girlfriend, significant other, wife, whatever involved, like, I mean,
even
if it's a serious relationship, then you nah, bro, that's a line.
If y'all exclusive,
you can't do that.
But moving on, I can't give you that one, bro. I can't. I mean, I get what you. I mean, I ain't gonna say I get what you saying, because I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't either. Hell, you just.
I'm just saying. From the story that you came from, I don't understand why he thought that was okay. Like, you know, I don't care if you know her since y'all was in diapers. It's
just some things you don't do.
Them diapers, look, I'm just gonna say them diapers don't fit the same no more.
That's law.
They don't fit the same no more.
That's law.
But back to your point, you know, as far as the different places you've been and how you can, you know, mess with, you know, your environment, I feel like, you know, when you have that nature versus nurture instilled in you, there's a way where you can just turn it on and off. You know, if that makes sense. But like for me, you know, my family, I'm not gonna call my family hood. I don't.
That was the ginger ale. I got you, Tony. I got you.
No flags, no shade, no nothing.
I will say this.
Ginger ale is what that was.
I think he was talking shit.
Look, we can't confirm or deny that right now, but anyways, I will say my dad's part of the family and my mom's part of the family were just two different entities or whatever. You know, my mom's family was more so, you know, holy, you know, don't dance and, you know, don't, you know, listen to certain music, all that stuff.
Yeah.
On my other side of the family, what? And we turn it up. Which I vibe with both of it, so I can go to either one of them and still be me or whatever. But it's just a way that you can use that to your advantage as far as having that nurture versus nature mentality. Because, you know, like for me, I always think about like, hey, what would have happened if I stayed on, you know, on the same side of the tracks my dad's family, you know, was on. Like, what if I never went to suburbs? How would I have changed? You know, because I had a cousin growing up, man. Me and him was thick as thieves or whatever. You know, he stayed where he stayed, I stayed where I stayed. Right. Anytime he come over to my crib, he's like, oh, you got all this nice stuff and blah, blah, blah. Me, I'm used to it, so I'm just like, oh, I mean, you know, it's nothing, whatever.
It's whatever,
you know
what I'm saying?
And, you know, I'm not going to say he was envious, but it was like every time it was like a wow factor for him. And I was just like, oh, I mean, it's just normal for me. But I just look at him like, man, would I feel the same way coming into, you know, someone else's crib? Which I've had instances like that where I've been to people's houses. And it's like, damn, you got a big ass house. This is nice. Y'all got TVs in your room? Like, you know, just stuff like that or whatever. So, I factor, but I just always think like, how different would I have been had I stayed in that environment? You know, so that's so that's definitely strong.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. Like the dynamics with my family. My dad's side, you know, mainly being from the South, and my mother's side mainly being from the Midwest. You know, so definitely two different sides colliding together, and I can definitely agree with you know, with this. Just before I moved to for the viewers that know Covington, you know, I wasn't used to seeing trees, that many trees, you know, in one setting. Right, man, that air was crisp. Oh my!
This is what oxygen is.
Man, I was breathing in, bro. All parts of my lungs was activated, bro. Like, I was like, damn, this air is clean, bro.
You came through my ice cube.
Man,
No small.
no small. Man, I'm telling you, like, and you know, it just kind of makes me. And y'all hear my child in the, you know, in the background. Yeah, she wilding.
We're performing for her.
Right, but you know, it's kind of funny because what you would bring up, you know, I guess how you would have been had you stayed in a particular area. I guess how it kind of plays into the whole nurture thing. I think I would have gotten the same nurtures, you know, as far as like my parents, you know, 2-parent household, things like that. Just two different.
That gave you a leg up, also.
Yeah. And you know, it's most people that I personally know, don't have that. And yes, sir.
Oh, I wanted you to finish before I asked this question.
Oh, okay.
It's pertaining to you.
It is pertaining. Okay, all right, I got you. But yeah, you know, most people that I do know don't have that 2-parent household. So as far as nurturing goes, and I'll get as much nurture from my father as I would get from my mother, even though I had both parents at work. My dad was more, you know, out there longer than my mother, but you know, I've had both parents that were working too. So you know, it wasn't one of those things where my mom was she was definitely not a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
You know, so, but I do feel as though my parents kind of, you know, they definitely gave it their all to make sure that I was straight, which, you know, I'm greatly appreciative for. I mean, I guess as far as nature goes, I think that correlates with, you know, like what Vince was talking about, your environment, what you're used to seeing every day, you know, especially those points in times where your mom and dad is not around you to see your experience and what you're going through.
Right.
I can't say had we had not moved to Georgia, and you know, more specifically in Covington, I probably would have had a different mentality or outlook on life. You know, if I stayed where I was at, which we needed to leave that environment anyways, because you know it was about as hood as you can get. You know, so you know, had we stayed there, who knows what I could have turned out to be. I never envisioned Yeah, I never envisioned myself as a hood person anyway. But
you got on my 40, cuz.
I mean, I feel like you got a strong personality, though. I feel like your character still would have shown through, you know, aside from, you know, hood mentality or whatever.
Okay.
I've like, as far as nurturing goes, I guess my mom was definitely on the nurture side of the spectrum. My dad is, I don't want to say on the nature side of the spectrum, but like more or less like you basically just gotta get it with him. You know what I'm saying? So like with mom, she overprotective as a child, really doesn't even begin to really go across the lines. Like I mean, I could go spend the night at somebody's house, but like you know, as soon as I step through the door, it's a grill of like 30 questions, like hey, what you do, where'd you go, who's you with, like blah, blah, like over, like not go. I guess not over the top, because now growing up, I see, you know, looking at wanting to be a parent, I see where a lot of that comes from, but very, very much so in a hands-on parent.
Yeah.
Where my dad was more or less, as long as you ain't killing yourself and you're not doing nothing illegal, go do what you do. Like, you feel me?
Fair enough.
Which I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel there's pros and cons to that style of fatherhood for sure. Like, I mean, he happened to luck up with me not being like, I guess my nature is not going and causing trouble and doing stupid shit and getting crazy or whatever. Like, more or less, my going out or whatever, I'm chilling with the bros. Like, you feel me? Like we in the house, we playing ball, we doing something. We ain't out here trying to shoot up the block for no pounds of weight. Like, but I mean, hey, bro, you walk into some places, it's there. But anyway, as far as nature versus nurture goes, and like I said, the two different directions you could take that discussion. Like, I feel like in my mom's nurture, growing up, I had to see that that nurture doesn't necessarily prepare you for nature. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you kind of have to like adapt to your own environment and take. I mean, you get to take from, the foundation that was put there, but like, as far as like how it handles and translates the real world, completely different experience, and your nature does start to show. And I feel like a lot of people that, I mean, maybe their parents tried or anything, it just didn't quite stick with them, and they become more of that natural character, and it's more or less, wild and out there and a little less controlled and refined or anything. But that was my experience. Like, I feel like, I got a healthy mix of both. Like y'all said, y'all was everywhere, and I've been everywhere. Everywhere. And so, like, I've been in California, Las Vegas, Florida, New York, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Georgia, like, everywhere. And so, like, I feel like, as you said, you draw from all the different elements of your environment, and I've definitely put that to the test. I feel like it's definitely experiencing different walks of life, kind of like gets you accustomed to how nature is. You know what I'm saying? He's smiling over there.
So you say you had a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Good question in my eyes. Good question.
Yes, sir. No question. So, question.
So, all right, nature. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you feel that being in the military, you feel what I'm saying, changed you? Like, did that change you in any type of way? Did you start thinking different, or acting different? Did that help you? You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, something that I've been wanting to work on is my procrastination, and I feel like going to the military probably could help you with there. You know what I'm saying? That discipline, and actually, doing what you got to do and stuff. So, like, do you think that changed you, like, going to the military, or do you think you would have still been the same person even if you wouldn't have went to the military?
Well, I'm still the same person now. I definitely still procrastinate. That don't feel at all whatsoever. I definitely still procrastinate, but it's been toned down. I guess my military years versus my. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, all up in the episode. She's trying to guest star.
Right, but yeah, my military years versus my upbringing years. I still procrastinate. That's that hasn't really changed, but it's definitely slowed down. I guess the thing with the whole procrastination thing, it's just one of those things where you have to you would have to make that decision for yourself. If something is that important for you to tackle now or to put it off till tomorrow. I don't really think it matters. Now, the military will definitely help. It will definitely contribute to eliminating procrastination, tendencies, especially right then and there. Boot camp, that shit is gone. That.
Hey, get your ass.
You
go work out.
You waking up at 4. Like, there ain't no question about it.
A.M.
A.M. A.M. 0400. 0400. Yeah, there you go. 0400 hours. And
Monday through Friday, you better hope y'all don't fuck up.
You get Saturday. You get Saturday.
Definitely, yes, sir.
You only get a pass on Sunday because other people practice religious services and stuff like that. So so right then and there, procrastination has definitely been eliminated. But I mean, I'm not saying procrastination has been my identity, but you know, I've definitely
struggled with some procrastination.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely struggled with that. You know, it has carried over to my
that's a
adult
natural
years.
too.
So you don't think going to the military changed you at all whatsoever?
Well,
No, I'm not saying
that.
that.
I was getting ready to say that's a different really category. Like, I was getting ready to second your question.
Okay.
Like, so how do you feel that it changed your nature overall? Like,
Okay. Well, I can say that I guess growing up, especially it's funny. Growing up, especially you know, your teen years, a lot of things everything is, you know, at a serious level. You know, whether it's being popular, or you know, wearing the nice clothes, or you know, do whatever. Getting through the school day without getting roasted on was like your top priority.
That was the ultimate survivor.
That was your ultimate your survivor tip. You know, just not, you know, but you know, as teens, we put that at such a high, you know, priority list. It stressed us out. It will stress us out. I can't say in the military, you know, me joining the military in that aspect is definitely changed my overall thinking as far as putting so much on my plate. I'll give you one example. It might be ominous, but it made a lot of sense for me at that moment. When we got deployed, being in a new environment, I'm like, man, this, you know. Any member that tells you that they've been deployed and never been scared is a lie.
it's literally a part
it's
of the
a lie.
They do that purposefully.
Yeah, they do that scariest shit. Yeah. This scariest shit I've ever experienced in my life. And granted, nothing super serious really happened over there, but still, anything could happen.
Right. I mean, it
know,
does happen.
It
for
does.
A lot of people, like,
right. You know, but one thing my first sergeant had said, and we was in the whole formation. He was like, "Listen, I know a lot of new Joes out here. You know, y'all are nervous, and that's okay. This is your first deployment. You know, me being in that list."
Right.
He was like, "But I'm gonna tell you something. If that bullet or missile or IED had your name on it,
you ain't got time.
to think about it.
Yep.
You know, it was just gonna be your time to go anyways."
Yep.
I was like, well, "That's an honest way to of thinking, but."
It's real though.
Yeah,
it wakes you up.
Exactly, it wakes me up. It was like, well, damn, yeah. If those stray bullets come, what?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you know, if a stray bullet was coming at you, that stray bullet was meant to be in your direction.
Right.
Weren't really too much you was gonna do about it anyway. So with that thinking, it made me not take things too much, you know, serious.
Right.
Too serious.
Right.
It definitely helped me have a different outlook on life, you know,
right.
how I go about
for sure
with life. You know, I started not to put too much on my plate. You know, I only focus on what I thought was important. You know what I'm saying? And all the other little stuff that was inconvenience. You know, that was just pretty much living rent free in my head.
Right.
I was able to, you know, with the military,
right.
I can definitely say that.
Like,
right. Yeah, like this ain't, you know.
Yep.
You know, especially, you know, with the names I having at my job, you know, just little things that regular average Joes would get upset with. With me, I'm like, well, I mean, shit, I eat that for breakfast.
Right.
That's what it is.
I made it through all that.
Right.
No,
I mean,
straight
right.
like,
just make sure my check is,
right.
You know, where it's
as long
supposed
as
to be at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just make sure my paycheck is correct. That's it. So, yeah, definitely being in the military, and I, you know, and still, even to this day, you know, this November, I'll actually reach my 10-year mark in it. Yeah, I know. That's a long time.
10 more years, you retired.
True. Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Thank
my
you.
boy.
Thank you.
For the country, my dog.
Some light.
Light.
But you know, just as far as, you know, with that, and of course to translate it to the civilian sector, just everything, just growing up and seeing everything in my environment, you know, I've learned to not take things too serious, especially if it's just an inconvenience to my life. So the military definitely changed me, changed a lot about me. I walk different now, you know.
Right.
And not in a braggadocious
yourself.
way. Yeah, but yeah, it's like you know. I remember y'all probably don't remember. Right. Y'all probably don't remember, but when I walk, I would slouch. I slouch every time I walk. They fixed that shit.
Oh yeah, sure.
Nah, you
walk with your chest.
Chest up, shoulders back.
Mr. McAdams.
All that, yeah. Yeah. Who was our economics teacher in high school?
There was a couple of them. There was.
I had more.
I think it was her.
Wow.
Yeah. She I remember I shook her hand one time or whatever. It was something because I was telling her thank you for, you know, because she was my senior class subject, econ. She was like, man, you got a good handshake. I was like, oh, you think so? You appreciate it. Really? She's like, baby, yeah, definitely. No.
Well, that's another topic.
Woo! No, we not gonna feed into that. It's strong hand. But yeah, no. But she was like, yeah, I feel like you're gonna get further in life, you know, with that hand. Just keep that same handshake, man. You're gonna get further in life. I was like, man, thank you. I really appreciate it. And 10 years later, I'm still sorry. Yeah, so
You come on now.
What?
So
No, 10 years later, I'm still using that same firm handshake that I, you know, greet everybody with. And what is
So,
Yes, sir.
so look, all right. Nature and nurture. All right, we all been brought up in different ways.
Yes.
I don't want to get too deep in it, but I am.
Go ahead.
But okay,
This
so
is corner, so go ahead.
you, double parent household.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Me, at first, you know, double parent, then going from a single parent, just mom. You, double parent, going from both your parents to just dad. You, double parent, then going from just your mom and dad to just your mom. How do you think, you know what I'm saying, being raised in the double parent household, you just being raised by your father, and you just being raised by your mother, how do you think that, you know what I'm saying? How was trying to put this? How did that upbring y'all? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel that changed you guys?
I mean, you go for it.
So I'm gonna say for me, I was a mama's boy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When my mom was here, I was all about my mom. All for the mom, all about mom, whatever. So, you know, 15 years old, you know, when she finally passed away or whatever, you know, I was like, oh, shit.
Hey.
Well, what I'm going to do now? So now I'm just dealing with my dad. So, you know, I'm comfortable enough to tell y'all this. Y'all already know this. Me and my dad never really had the best relationship. And it was just because we were so much alike. I didn't know it then. He probably didn't know it then. But that was the whole issue. I guess, no, not the issue, but that was the whole nature of it. So it's like no matter how much I tried to get away from how my dad was and how I was, it was already in me. I couldn't really run from it. You know, when I say that, you know, me and my dad both have bad tempers. Unfortunately, I have that. And, you know, a couple other things I have as well. But, you know, we were so much alike that we just didn't realize it. And then until now, it's just like, okay, we're good now. We're in a better place because we understand what we both got going on, how we're alike and things of that nature. Because that was the nature, you know, no matter how much my mother nurtured me and tried to make me this man, that man, I still had a nature about me that ended up growing and ended up showing its face. So for me, you know, like I said, I'm not going to say necessarily changed anything, but I do feel like if she was still here, I probably, in my mind, would probably be in a better place as far as, you know, like, educational wise and things of that nature, because she tried to
instill that motivation.
And my father, on the other hand, he didn't know a lot about that stuff or whatever. So, you know, when he came to school and stuff, hell, I'm just happy you graduated high school. You know, like, and for me, I'm just like, but I want more. You know what I mean? You know, but
you could have pushed me.
Right. Could have sent me somewhere, man. But, you know, I do feel like had she have been here, you know, she knew more about the education world that he did, because I'm talking about my mom was one of the ones that came in and substituted and things of that nature. I always helped with my schoolwork, science stuff. I mean, so I do feel like my life would probably be a little more different. I mean, I'm still gonna have that nature in me, but that nurture would have led me to a better life, you know, as far as educational wise, I say.
Gotcha.
But that's my take on it.
I mean,
I feel like, you know, my mom was nurtured. Like, I tried to take, I was with my mom 90% of the time, and then had like little vacations and summer breaks and Christmas holidays and stuff like that with my dad and everything. I will say with the short time I had with the two-parent household before they split up the first time was very crucial. Like, they both did a good, like, my dad was a military man, and, you know, when he had me, he did, you know, at least do his best to make sure that, like, there was lessons taught, and, you know, had me swimming and playing different sports, and, you know, putting me in different directions and stuff like that. And he was also, like, I can't take anything from him, like, he is relatively a pretty good picture of a man, you know, and thankfully, like, I was gifted with the nature of being naturally observant, you know what I'm saying, and, like, you know, and I took a lot from that. And then when it became a one-parent household, I saw my mom, and I to this day respect her on the highest regard for seeing how hard she really worked to keep things, you know, at a level that where, like, you know, I might not have gotten everything I wanted on the spot, but she was gonna figure out a way to get it, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, when it became a single parent household and she started, like, I'm talking working her whole ass off, we getting off at like, I mean, we getting up at like 4:45 in the morning, we getting on buses, we getting on trains, we getting, somehow I'm gonna get to daycare, somehow she gonna get to work, end of the day, do it all again Monday through Friday, like, you know what I'm saying? And both my parents are grinders, but, like, my mom, like, like, she had a bounce back game like I've never seen before, and just one of them is like, she's gonna get it. Oh, you need it? Okay, we about to go get it. Like, and then, like, as far as, oh no, don't hold it in.
You okay? Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
I ain't even say nothing.
And they don't take it. He's like, it's coming. It's coming. Chill. Breathe.
Soft.
I mean, I feel you. Like, I'm just trying to make sure it stays at a, you know, a dull roar. There you go.
Okay.
I think she needs somebody, but all right. And then, all right. As far as my dad goes, he's a whole, for lack of a better word, machine. Like, I watched that man get up way before the sun even think about rising.
Yeah.
Go do his training, his workout, whatever, with, you know, classes and stuff like that. Go to his he's had the same day job since 1995, I think. Word. Like, and by now I can't imagine what you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine where he is in that plant. He's been at the same job that whole time, so, like, I can't imagine where he is. But he does all that, and then while at the same time being, like, a personal trainer, being, at one point we had a landscaping company going, and, like, just so many different things. And so he was a pretty good picture of a man. Like, he knew how to pay bills, take care of shit, and make sure that people around him was taken care of, you know what I'm saying? And so being observant as a child, I got that. And then my parents got back together when I was in the first grade, and, like, the best year of my life. Like, as far as, like, a two-parent household, I'm getting walked to school every morning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, like, literally the picture of how I would want, ideally, my child to grow up. Like, us taking you to school in the morning, and us, like, tag teaming these activities, and, like, all of us going together and everything. Like, that whole year was probably, like, best year of my childhood, period, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Like, the birthday parties was bomb, like the weekend activities was bomb. We was finding, like, little different things to do through the week was bomb. And then so I feel like the nurture that I got to experience helped me for the nature that I'm experiencing in the world today. Like, especially being, like, you know, in so many different places and everything, like, coming up, being able to pull from different things you've gone through, and like just like you said, like, you were in the military, it's like, oh, I went through all that shit, and this shit ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I feel like being raised the way I came up, having the parents that I did, definitely conditioned me to be ready, like, now that I'm aware of everything that's going on, because I'm not going to argue to say that I wasn't a late bloomer or anything, but, like, you know, it definitely prepared me. Like, both my parents had aspects to draw from to, like, give me a good chance at moving forward. You know?
Absolutely.
But that's how I attack that notion.
Well, I guess coming from a two-parent household, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions with as far as well, you was raised from a two-parent household, so you've had it good. Now I'm not saying that's not the case for me.
Right.
However, like I mentioned before, both my parents were working. You know, so it's not like I had one that was sitting at the house, and one going out and then going off. Both my parents were working, so you know, we at school. As soon as I get off of school, I'm at somebody else's house, you know, until my parents get home.
Right.
So I guess what I sometimes envy from other people is having you know, one or the other or even both simultaneously. You know, after they're in kind of just kind of like they're right because you know any parent coming home, my mom and pops was coming. My mom was coming home maybe at like 6. My dad, he'll be home when he get home. You know, just he works because he just be working. You know, so
quick question: were you in daycare or you just went to like a family house?
Yeah, I'll be in daycare. I'll be in daycare in the morning. Then I'll have a shuttle that'll actually take me to school. And then you know, and everything vice versa from school back to the daycare, and either my mom or dad is picking me up from there.
The only reason I brought that up because being around other kids definitely helps. Right. If you just, you know, getting shoved off to your uncle or grandma's house, then you're not really getting that experience.
But see now, at the same time, I wasn't really, and not to no fault of their own, you know, I wasn't really taught how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, to get along with you. That makes a huge difference. I mean, hell, you seen it when I first came. You know, if y'all seen the previous episodes, you know, I wasn't rocking with dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Rocking with nobody.
Right, with nobody. With nobody.
Here I am in this new place.
Yeah.
Like, this is me.
Exactly.
What it is.
You know, so you know, I was, you know, some aspects, you know, where people kind of envy, like where people would envy me or people like me that actually had a two-parent household. They don't really see the behind the scenes of what, you know, how it's ran. Especially if you got both parents that's working. You know, so you know, of course, after they get home from work, they trying to lay it down, basically. Right, you know, do it all over again. And then they gotta do it again tomorrow.
Because I mean, you know, I not to cut you off, but I will say for me as a parent now, I definitely see like, hey, like time is everything. Like, you know, I might come home, but you know, I'm wanting to chill. I want to sit in my seat, you know, play a couple of games, whatever. My son, like, hey, take the sword, man. The sword fight. I'm like, alright, so I mean,
that's good
though.
That's good.
But you know, so you know, whatever.
Hey, you gonna take something?
Take some next week.
Right. Like,
so you know, when it comes to him, I try to give him that time he needs because you know, this day and age with these phones and stuff, it's easy for me to be like, oh, you playing these toys? All right, cool. You know, until he come over like, hey, cars or play with swords. I'm like, all right, put his phone away. Let's go do something. But like you said, you know, at the end of the day, parents when they come home, they've been working all day.
They've been working all day.
They want to chill. You know, so I mean, it definitely makes a difference. Like, you know, I will say, I know for parents, it's got to be for parents. They want to have that time. They wish they could just stay home and not have to go to work. You know what I mean? Like even now, you know, me and my wife are working, both working full-time jobs or whatever. And you know, I don't make it home till probably about 5 o'clock. Sometimes she don't make it home till about 7 or 8 o'clock or whatever. But, you know, but out of that time, I try to spend that time with my son where I can. And I just know that time's important because, you know, a lot of people like, well, you know, I only had one parent. You had 2 parents. You had to have better than me. Time is a thing. It's one thing to have 2 parents. It's another thing to have 2 full-time working parents.
Full-time work, exactly.
You know, so you, I'm not saying.
But you know, I guess to get back to the point, you know, from the outside looking in, people are like, oh yeah, you had 2 parents, because you know I've had most of my friends, especially where I come from, that didn't have a 2-parent household, you know. But at the same token, you know, from my aspect, you know, there was a lot of time that was missed in my upbringing. definitely started to notice a little bit growing up in my teen years. You know, there was a lot of things that I felt that I was going through, you know, in school, or just going through my emotions, or just going through the emotions in my head and things like that. I remember one time I told my mother that I was depressed about something. I was like, Mom, I'm depressed. And then, you know, she was like, what you depressed? Right, yeah. Right. You depressed?
First thing I asked you about what? What you gotta be depressed about?
Yeah, you know, and yeah, it was one of the situations like, nah, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. No, you're not depressed, son. You know, and it kind of made me think that, you know what, you're right, Mom. Maybe I'm tripping. You know, I might be tripping. I'm not depressed. I know, but I never gotten that issue resolved. You know what I'm saying? But not saying that it's her fault or anything. Because like I said, it was a lot of time that was missed because both my parents was always at work, and I was always at somebody else's house, you know, and I wouldn't go to them, you know, telling them about my problems.
Right. Hard to.
You know, it was hard to, and then at the same token, I didn't know how to articulate myself, you know, to talk about my problems, you know, especially, you know, fluidly.
Right.
You know, so there was a lot of times where, you know, I wouldn't tell my parents what I was going through in middle school, high school, even in my 20s. You know, there was a lot of things that I would keep in myself because I've always figured that, you know, damn, my mom and dad work all the time. You know, they've got all other shit to worry about. You know,
you just feel like you don't want to bother.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm like, whatever I got going on, that's, you know, from a 1 to 10 scale is at a 2. Right. You know, so I hated that it got to that point because, you know, it definitely did carry it over to my, you know, my later 20s and even into my, you know, now 30s. There were some things that I wouldn't communicate to my parents about only because I didn't think that it was important to communicate them with or communicate them about. You know, especially even though there's anything strenuous because, you know, I'm like, because I've already put it in my mind that, you know, mom and dad is not going to always be around when you need them. So there's going to be a point in time where you just got to figure shit out for yourself.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, so when some people will come and tell me, well, yeah, you had, at least you had mom and dad together. You know, I only have one. I'm like, okay, that's cool and all. From the outside looking in, yeah, that's cool, but you don't know about the allotted time that's missed.
Right.
You know, that we can't get back.
That's the levels I told y'all about previously. Like, you know, you might feel like you're doing bad, but somebody could be doing worse than you. They want what you got. Right. And then upward.
Yeah, see, like, I wish I had a lot more. I wish I would have had a lot more time. Now, like I said, I don't down my mom and dad because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I could eat. You know, just to make sure I could eat. You know, make sure I could get to school and things like that. You know, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of time that was missed in my upbringing. You know, that I wish I knew because, you know, I do consider myself a late bloomer when it comes to, especially with communicating with a lot of people. Just communicating with strangers. Right. Just being brave enough to say, hey, how you doing? Right. Just to be brave to even do that. You know, it took me a long time to get myself out of that shell. I remember my pops would tell me, you know, man, son, you know, you gotta learn how to talk to people, you know, because it can open some doors, you know, that you would never know. And, you know, so I'm like, okay, all right, I got you. But then,
from experience,
right? Because he knows how to talk to people, him and mom. But then, you know, so I said, yeah, okay. But then in my mind, I'm like, okay, but how? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? You know, my parents would tell me, oh yeah, man, you gotta learn how to save money. You know, and then I would say, well, why should I save money? Because if I'm saving money and I'm not using it, why is my money sitting here? Right. You know, if you know, what's the point of saying, what am I saving it for? You just telling me to save money, okay, that's cool, but what for? What's the end goal of, you know, these funds sitting in my bank?
I think that was definitely something that a lot of parents left out, like as far as like, I think my dad numero uno taught me how to go get the money. Not too many people spoke too much on how you handle it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
why this needs to be in schools.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, they tried with the little, home ec and economics and stuff like that. They didn't drill it home that like, look, bro, money is life at this point. Like, they and that's something that I feel like maybe carrying on to like future generations. I think personally, we last couple generations a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's one thing, you got the whole, information superhighway at your fingertips and everything, but like, I feel like it's kind of going to waste if you don't have the parents who are solid enough in mind to teach them how to use it. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of, like I said, the last couple of generations have been tough. Like you got a whole lot of kids having kids and they still growing up themselves. It's really hard to instill life lessons and you ain't experienced life yet. You know what I'm saying? Enough to really be putting into somebody else. And I feel like as bad as I want kids, I'm happy that I haven't to this point had them because I feel like only recently have I fully awakened to be aware enough of life to be able to put that back into a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the world is only getting faster and progressing. Even like the more time goes by, the faster it moves, it seems. Like everything is just instant gratifications on the spot at the time. Like, right now, I feel like you need more experience of the world to be really, trying to teach somebody else to come up in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I want to bring up a point too. I think that this correlates with nature because a lot of households, especially in the black households, their offsprings, the parents typically want their offsprings out the house by 18. You know what I'm saying?
That's a standard rule.
Right. Me personally, I'm not gonna do that. Only because I didn't have to live through that. Thankfully, I didn't have to.
Right.
18, yes, that's a legal age, but you still haven't lived. You just.
I think it'll really. As far as approaching that, it would have to depend on the individual and the particular child in question, because there's some that are actually ready. Like, hell, you got Vincent over here. Like I made the comment earlier, he's been a grown man his whole life. like me and straight up.
Facts.
Like you got some folks that come out the box ready for life and like can actually handle that.
I tell y'all what, I should have slowed my ass.
I get where you're coming from being like actually in the shoes, but like nah, bro. Like me and Silk was talking way back in the day.
A year after I met Vincent, he was
full-time working on his own. I got this shit.
Like the first year I met him, we all kids, we had fun and stuff. Next year after that, straight grown man. He is an adult at this point.
That's why I say you got the game early.
You feel me? Straight adult.
Oh, God.
You did. Absolutely.
But this ain't about me, but I'm gonna touch on this real quick before you hop into what you about to say. I will say millennials and Generation Z, they're going to have a better outlook on things than the previous generations before. Because like y'all said, this is right, so this is common between all of us. A lot of our parents didn't grow up with, hey, I'm gonna tell you what's going on with me and my emotions and things of that nature. They didn't have that. It was just more so, you be alright, tighten up and keep going or whatever. Versus us, the rest going forward, that it's okay. You can come to me, you can tell me what's going on with you. Like, are you depressed? Okay, let's talk about why are you depressed? What's making you depressed? Things of that nature. Don't feel like you can't come and talk to me, because how we grew up, we felt like we couldn't do it. We felt like we couldn't tell you, like, I'm depressed. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. Can you help me? You can't help me? Oh.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us don't really come from an inviting, spirit, I guess. With my parents, not saying that they would shut me down all the time, but like I said, they work all the time. They ain't
all the way there to really
their mind is not there to fully focus on. Okay, damn, there's something going on with my son. Let me. I know I'm tired, but he needs me right now. So it's like, and like I said, it's not like they neglect it. my parents are not neglecting.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
let me make that clear. It was like, more oftentimes than not, they're just not fully there, because all they've known growing up is work, whatever you're going through,
Take care of your shit.
Embrace the suck,
Right.
Embrace the suck, just know it's not gonna last forever, whatever. Just keep going.
Keep going.
Which is fine,
Right.
it for certain occasions that's fine, but
thankfully things have adapted and changed
Yeah.
to where like it is more normalized to sit there and talk about emotions and feelings and what you're going through.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It's wrong because them growing up and before, it was like being emotional, you weak.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
You know?
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I just got fortunate with my mom. She's like in that overprotective, very nurturing spirit. She was almost like, I would want to say, too willing to communicate, to the point to where, like, I feel like if something's pushed in your face so much, it'll be like you start to get to the point where, like, all right, you go ahead and chill out a little bit. And I feel like that happened in me and my mother's relationship. But when I needed to talk, she was definitely always there to talk. And and having that is, I consider it like, was certainly an advantage as far as like being raised, having a parent that you could come openly talk to. Now my dad, on the other hand, I mean, you can give the gist of what you're talking about, and you can kind of have an outline of the conversation and everything. Like I said, I'm not downing him as a father, but like there was only, he had a certain style of fatherhood, and how he was going to be a dad and everything. And his dad before him wasn't necessarily the most nurturing, character. And honestly, I feel like my dad kind of learned to be a man more or less, I'm not going to say in reverse, but more like around, like, all right, how kind of not to be, or how not to move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And due to his nature towards me, which is, I feel like I give him the nod that he was definitely a better father to me than what he got to experience overall. But like, he could only go to a certain level. You know what I'm saying?
That's how they was talking.
Right. There wasn't that. If you really need to talk, like, you could, like I said, you could get an outline of the conversation to him, but you couldn't quite get across there. Thankfully, I had my mom, who was a parent that I could definitely, if you got to communicate, I'm like, she straight drop whatever she got, whatever she got going on. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was definitely something that I can garner as a advantage in the situation of life. I feel like me being the rebel, more or less, that I was, like, don't tell me like what I can't do, because like I'm gonna go ahead and watch me do it again. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, she, and I feel like she was the type of parent that could get that and was like, all right, well, I'm going to say what I think you need to hear in this situation, in the understanding that, like, you done grown up now, you probably going to go ahead and do whatever you feel like you're doing. And now, in retrospect, I see the lessons that, they tried to teach me and how they went about teaching me. And I'm not saying that, like, we kind of have a leg up, as in it's been more than normalized to talk to your kids, but like it actually go through emotions and depression and anxiety and stuff like that. But we kind of have an advantage, and what kind of irritates me is that these last couple generations are abusing it. Like they're not growing up enough and not taking in enough of life before making another one to be able to level with their child and like tell them how to get through certain problems, because hell, they don't even know how to handle those problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's, to me, been like, I feel like, again, that the reason that I want kids, and like I'm excited to have a family and everything, but like I feel like at the same time, it's been a good thing that it's taken this long to have kids, because now I know, like, I'm alert, awake to the situation of how life goes, and I can actually pass on those lessons. And thankfully, we're in a time where that's normalized. You can sit there and really talk to your kids about, how they're feeling and everything.
I guess kind of piggyback on what you're saying. I think we're especially in our generation where we kind of fall short is that we still have to live our adult life and things like that, right? While at the same time still trying to talk to our younger self.
Right.
Forgiving our younger self, you know, our younger childhood traumas. You know, man, it seems like almost every day I'm talking to that 14-year-old Teron, you know, like, listen, man, you know, it's okay to talk to people. You don't have to, you know, be ducked off, you know. Yeah. Like, the other day I was like, you could have told Vincent your name, you know, like, you know, you could have told, like,
I was talking to my supervisor about that, like, we was discussing Lil Wayne. Yeah, like every time my supervisor arrived with me, for whatever reason, I'd be on like a Lil Wayne wave, and like I'll go back to his older shit. And it was like, you know, by now you probably recognize that, you know, Lil Wayne's my favorite, you know, artist to listen to. And he was like, yeah, and thankfully this is thankfully the supervisor, like, he's into a wide variety of music and everything, and we got to talking about him. Yeah. And I was like, I would bet money that Carter 2 Wayne would look at today's Wayne and be like, what the hell happened? Yeah, like, because I'm telling you, Carter 2, because we got into like a real serious conversation, like, Carter 2 Wayne was carrying himself around like the sharpest thing running, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, he was on his shit. And then now, like, you look at him and it don't even look like the same person anymore you looking at.
My favorite
drugs. Just say no to drugs, kids.
My favorite line off the Carter 2 was the best rapper alive song.
Yes, sir.
He says, fuck up with all these rookie MCs. Woo! Smell like a bunch of pussy to me. That was my favorite line.
And like at that time, you couldn't, like, he was arguably the best rapper alive.
The best rapper
and then
alive.
At the same time carried himself like that. Like, now it's like, I'm telling you, he would look old him would look at new him and be like, bro, dude, what is happening? Like, what track do I need to jump back on, like, to steer away from that?
And I think with that analogy carries on to when, like, what I was saying, that we still have to go back and tell our childhood, you know, our scared or intimidated childhood version of ourselves that we're, you know, it's okay. Or, you know, listen, you didn't know that what was going on, like, you know now, it's okay. Right. We have to spend a lot of time to forgive ourselves, you know, for thinking a certain way. Right. You know, because until we heal those childhood traumas, we can't carry ourselves like we are right now. Like you said, with the whole look, now it just happened to be in reverse, you know, with the Lil Wayne. The younger Lil Wayne was carrying himself at a higher standard than where this new Lil Wayne is right now. Right. So it's the same thing. His situation is just in reverse. Right. You know, us now, in order for us to be able to carry ourselves in a new standard or operate in a higher frequency, we have to go back to our childhood traumas and, you know, forgive ourselves. Process what happened, why it happened, and say, you know what, it's okay that it happened. Now, moving forward, when you have your offsprings, you don't have to do those things. And you know what to do and what not to do.
And we're in an age, like I said, that it's normalized for you to be able to really sit down and communicate that. Like, I feel like it was weird back, like, say 20, 30 years ago, for somebody to sit down and really talk to their kid, because, like, at that point, it was just like, oh, you a kid, bro, you ain't got nothing to worry about, you know?
Absolutely.
And then now, it's like, legitimately, life, since time is moving so progressively, so fast, now it's like we actually are in an age where, like, life is happening to these kids so fast. Like, you know, technology is at their fingertips, and now they're seeing, they're literally coming in contact with encounters that we weren't coming in contact with until well into middle school, or, like, you know what I'm saying? And so now I feel like I said, like, I hate that a lot of the generation is abusing it, but we have the ability to be able to instill more because the experiences are happening much quicker than they used to. You know what I'm saying? And it's, I don't want to say sad to see, but, like, you know, seeing that, like, you know, these kids having kids, they're very unexperienced, and they bringing up these kids is like, you know, okay, they're it's a daily struggle to take them to the grocery store because they got these kids running around, them kids themselves not knowing how to raise these kids, just doing whatever they feel, they want to do. Yeah. And sure, okay, well, I'm gonna beat your ass or whatever. No, like you gotta sit down and understand why the kid is acting the way the kid is acting. Like, pick up another pack of Skittles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that no more. Like when we was growing up, that's how it was. These days, like I feel like the bar has both sunken and risen at the same time, whereas like you actually have the knowledge now as a parent to really talk to your child about like why they are acting the way they are acting, whereas when we were kids, if you were a bad kid acting the way you was acting, oh, that's just a bad kid, like you know what I'm saying, like God forbid he tried to reach out and express himself and say something about how he was feeling inside. No, you just a bad kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna write these sentences. You're gonna run these drills. You're gonna do this, that, and the third. Right. And thankfully now we're in an age where it's normalized for you to talk to them. And I hate to see that so many kids going, not saying missing experiences and stuff in parent-child relationships, but these parents are more or less absent-minded to like they still wondering about life themselves. So it's like they're distracted from their child trying to figure out how to live life. You know what I'm saying? Not real. I mean, I guess clearly you got to process. You had a whole child and everything, but like not realizing that you got a whole nother life sitting here right next to you that you have to be pouring into, and it sucks to see. Like,
y'all don't love episode 25. A lot of what y'all saying is going to probably be more likely in that episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't wait.
Yeah, so just keep y'all posted. Episode 25. Dancing with the Devil.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. Because, I mean, a lot of the stuff we bringing up is true stuff. Because, like, at the end of the day or whatever, like, unfortunately, no fault of our parents, they didn't know how to deal with us. And now here we are, like Max said, almost 30 years, in the game now, we still haven't really dealt with everything that's going on within us. We still struggling in it. And then on top of that, have to raise a child and try to help them when you ain't even fully complete yet.
Right. And then our parents getting older.
Man,
then with that, grandparents, they
get soft, bro. They get soft, man. Like these grandparents and stuff now, boy, they used to talk their worst trash. Like, I ain't gonna never watch your child. You better not never have no baby. Now they just punks now.
My dad.
I said it. Punks.
P-U-N-K-S. Dad, ain't no reason you an army man and you acting this soft to your granddaughter. I don't know you anymore.
Man, I seen this man rocking to sleep like, hey, everything okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I was like,
what?
Well, maybe I want a hug too.
Hug me, daddy.
Maybe I want a hug too. Just work this long shift.
Me a hug. Grandparents' house, like
dude. Hey, you got it, man. You got to see it. It's a wonderful sight.
One thing,
it's crazy.
I guess my closing remark on the discussion has been, all right. So my least favorite phrase that I like to hear come out of my parents' mouth is "There's nothing new under the sun."
Okay, I got you.
And all right, so these same parents that say, "Okay, it's nothing new under the sun." I had both parents go into my high school, and they were like, "Wow, things have really changed." All right, so all right, cool. Like, don't get, you know what I'm saying? All right, so here's what I guess examples. My dad came into my high school one time to eat lunch with me. That was just something. Like I said, my dad is not a bad dad. There's some areas that could be sharpened up, and then this late in the game, hell, it is what it is. But
back what you can.
Right. But back in the time, my dad came into high school and he looked around and was just completely shocked with what he was seeing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the layouts and the technology where it's posted, like even at that point, we talking about over a decade ago now, had come so far in his since he had been in a high school. And like, sure, the kids, the crowds and all that's still a thing in high school, but now everybody kind of handles situations a lot differently because times have changed. And then now you move to my mom coming to a school, and like my mom used to be a teacher. So like, you know, she had a pretty good idea on how a school should go, and then she walks into, you know, Alcovy and she's like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and she's like, whoa, like school has come a long way, and I was just like,
yes.
So that nothing new under the sun though, cause we had this discussion many times talking about like technology and internet and you know things like that. Like, oh, okay, so nothing new under the sun, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you know this little smartphone that I got in my hand in this class. Where was y'all cell phones? Period in y'all's high school. Like y'all had one phone in the school, and that was sitting behind the principal's desk. Like you feel me? Like you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now every classroom has a phone. Every you know there's so many different progressions that have happened throughout time. There's like nothing new where.
Just like
you
computers,
feel me?
man.
And then that's another reason why I'm saying like us you know in this generation as parents have come from. You know, this technological advance, like, I feel like we got out of school right when it was really starting to peak, but, you know what I'm saying, you know, coming from this technological era that we're in, we have the same access to the information that these kids are having, and then as adults, we should have more knowledge on how to navigate this technology and everything, and how to handle these children that are now almost as technologically savvy as adults. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some kids that are showing adults how to work the things that they're working on.
I mean, that's circle life.
You know what I'm saying? Like the whole nothing new under the sun is like that only goes so far. Like I get where you're coming from, but like that ain't everything.
I mean, just like you know, I've said this before. Like even with my grandparents or whatever, shoot, a DVD player was something new to them. They was like, oh man, this is crazy. So after that, I became an IT tech. So any issue they had, you know, with a DVD player, hey, call me and I come over there and fix it. And now you got streaming. Oh my God! I had to introduce them to that. That was something different. Yeah, and you know, casting. Bro, I ain't even took them casting yet. I'm scared. I'm scared to take
it.
But you know, just I mean, you know, you look at technology.
You talking about grandparents?
Right. Because I mean, they just go all into evolution, like I was talking about earlier, man. Like things change and people haven't learned new things. There's that term, nothing new under the sun, is bullshit. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, man, like I'm not gonna say I hate to see it, but I hate to see when I get older and there's something I don't know. I'm like, come on, man. Like I used to be a tech kid when I was coming up. Now you mean tell me I can't work this virtual movie screen? Like what's going on? So you know that's just a whole part of evolution. What you didn't know before. It's gotten bigger now. You gotta learn that new thing.
You gotta revert back to them Iron Man movies,
man. Because I mean, like smart boards didn't even come about till we was about to graduate.
Yeah.
And now smart boards are just
beyond like they're full whole interactive projection screens at this point. Like they touch a point on the board and that's hitting. That's an action. Like.
Anybody else have closing remarks? You have anything?
Y'all want to hear about my whole little single parent household?
I mean, yeah. Did you never jump into it?
I wanted y'all to finish.
We got time. Hey, Kels, you check that camera real quick so make sure he got enough time. Cause she knocked out. Let me go check the camera.
I go for it.
I'll check, make sure phone's still going.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Still going.
Yep, still going.
Alright, so I'm gonna make this.
No, you go ahead take time.
Okay. So, mine is kind of like, I don't know, mine is weird, y'all, because, you know, it's weird because of me, I can't sit back and remember a time that I had with my father. You feel what I'm saying? I can't sit back and sit here and tell y'all anything like, I remember when me and my dad, you know, went to the park or something like that, or I can't remember any of that. So for me, it's more like I only remember my mom. You feel me? I remember my mom. I remember my grandma. I remember my aunties.
You
feel what I'm saying? My grandma, my great grandma Lucy, my great auntie Faye. I remember my auntie Tika, and I remember my grandma Vivian. You feel what I'm saying? I also remember my grandma Margaret, because sometimes we used to go over there and stay over there. And then that's sometimes where we would see my father. My father was a cop, so my father was always working and stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So my household, it was basically great mother, great dad. I love my dad to death, love my mama to death. But you know, my mom had to, you know what I'm saying, she had to goddamn, you know, she had to grind. You feel me? So 3 kids, single mama, you feel what I'm saying? She had like 3 jobs, working all 3 of them. So we had to, you know what I'm saying, go with my grandma every time she was gone. So like, for me, bro, you know, once I hit 6, my daddy was gone. You feel not dead or anything, but he was, you know what I'm saying, out of the picture, you feel me, for 15 years. So that's 15 whole years without a father figure. So, you know what I'm saying, my mom used to
developmental stages too.
You feel me? So my mom used to send me to, you know, Florida with my uncle. You feel me? Sometimes she used to send me to Tampa, Florida with my granddad and my grandma. But yeah, you feel me? Trying to fill fill that void of me not having a father figure. Eventually we stopped going down there. You feel me? So then all I had was my older cousins. I had my older cousin Eli, my older cousin Frank, and my older cousin Fred. Yeah, you feel me? Boy, 7 feet tall, boy. Big, Shaq, boy.
Came around the corner and thought I was about to die.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, my older cousin Frank, he wound up moving, if I'm not mistaken, to Washington or Seattle. You know what I'm saying? My cousin Fred, he wound up going to jail. Still in there, by the way. And this is when I was 6, guys. 28 now. Well, you know what I'm saying? 28. Right. He's still in there.
Gotcha.
My cousin Eli, you know what I'm saying? He went to jail too. So it's like, yo, ain't no father figure or anything. So all that, the nature and like the nurture that I got, it's mostly from the women in my family.
Right. And keep in mind for the viewers, you're the only male sibling.
Yes, I have nothing but sisters. You know what I'm saying? I got like 4 or 5 sisters. I have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, facts. I have my sister Courtney, my sister Kalia,
right.
I got my stepsister Trinity, my half sister Kenyelle, and a bunch of god sisters. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so just only male. So I just grew up with nothing but women.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Women here, women there, and like every male figure that did come into my life. Locked up. You shit for real. You feel me?
And Omar too.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I would say 7 years into that 15-year span without my father. I'd say 7 years into that, my mom, you know, got remarried to Omar. You know, who's my stepfather. Wonderful provider and everything. But you gotta realize, bro was always at work. Yeah. So what kind of father figure do I actually have? So if I was looking at my stepfather as a father figure, you know what I'm saying, all I got for him pretty much was, okay, take care of the family. I take care of the family by what? Working. Right. So I kind of see myself, you know what I'm saying, in him, you know, because what am I always doing? Work. You feel me?
Right.
You feel me? Like
that time that I was telling you about.
Yes, so like, bro, like it's kind of been weird, kind of been hard for me. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like me personally, anybody with a daddy, I was always jelly. I'm jelly. I'm jelly. I'm sorry, y'all. I was jelly. All my friends, they had their pops and their lives. I was so jelly. Like,
I mean, they just don't know what you saying. You have 2 parents. But hey,
again, you know,
both my parents was always at work.
You feel me? So, with me, I was I was just so jelly. Like, dang, bro. Like, and it ain't even about like, you know, having, you know, that mother and father. Me personally, what my dad get? You feel me? Like, come on, bro. I feel like my life probably would have been different if I had my father in it. Because, you know, it's only so much fear in my eyes. It's only so much fear your mom can strike into your head as a man. You feel what I'm saying? It's only so much fear. Like, the worst my mom could ever do to me is say I'm disappointed in you.
Gotcha.
in my eyes.
That
And that would hurt like a motherfucker. Like, don't get me wrong, that would hurt. You feel me? But I feel like sometimes I miss that discipline, like a father can give you, like that stern voice, like, hey. You feel what I'm saying? I'll kill you. You feel me like, oh shit, okay. Like, damn, alright, shit, let me go ahead and go wash them dishes or something. Like, what you saying, dude? Let me go do that.
Oh, you called me from up the street and turn the light off?
Alright, shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Hey, that's a real life experience.
Hey, you feel me? Like,
That
so.
facts.
I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like if I had that discipline from my father, you know what I'm saying, maybe that procrastination would have went out the window.
Okay.
Or maybe I could have had more confidence to do what I want to do. Like, I wanted to be a basketball player, you feel what I'm saying? What my mama know about basketball? How she gonna breathe that confidence into me?
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying? My dad, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying, hey man, you know, do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Tell me what I gotta do, put me through these drills and all of this stuff. I feel like I would have been, I don't know, I feel like I would have been like a better person.
Not necessarily a better person.
Well-rounded, like,
well-rounded.
like
you know what I'm saying?
you would have had that extra umph that you needed
Like,
to continue.
I maybe would have, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, an example. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my father was in the picture when it came to me going to college, I feel like I would have been dog shit scared as hell to fuck up in college if my dad was here.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I just had my mom. You know, and my stepdad, but like I said, my stepdad, I was at work, so I just had my mom. So I feel like if my dad was there and I had that strict parent, that sternness, I feel like I wouldn't have went to college and bullshitted. Because when I went to college, I bullshitted, y'all.
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I went to college with this guy. You feel me?
Yeah.
Why every time this guy got out of class, I'm still in the commons area, you know, chilling. Like, fuck that class. I ain't going to that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Putting spades. Well, those were the tables,
You
bro.
feel me? Like,
those were the bosses.
bro, like, I feel like if I would have had that father figure, which I did have a couple of father figures in my life, but it didn't stick.
Solid.
You feel what I'm saying? Because like when I would go down to Florida for the summer, you know, the summer is only what, like 2 months, 3 months, and then we gotta go back to school.
Yeah.
So guess what? I'm back with my mom and my sisters and stuff like that. And in my head, like, shoot, I mean, you can't beat my ass. You know what I'm saying? You can whoop me. What? You can whoop me, bro. You can't beat my ass.
You think that had everything to do with her and her nurturing, her being a woman, or just you?
No, I feel like that was a me thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say
That was a
personally, I
nature
think it was
thing.
Yeah, that was
Because-
a me thing. I feel like I need, that's the nature. I needed that male figure to like whip me into shape. Because in my head, I guess I'm thinking like, alright, so if I fuck up, get in trouble, like what's the worst my mom can do to me? You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
Beat my ass, like you can whoop me, but guess what? Like once I hit 13, 14, whooping's gonna hurt, so what you really gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I felt that, you know, that's just me, that's my head.
I mean, but this is what I'm gonna say on it, man. I don't think it would necessarily made the biggest impact, but if helped, yeah. But you see a lot of star athletes that only had their mom, and you know. So I just think just all just depending on where you were at, what you want to do, because at the end of the day, it could have happened. Yeah, it could have been a particular person. Now,
But then I feel like some people like who do only have that mother figure in their life, I feel like they coaches or they have some male to come in there. You feel
well,
what
I mean,
I'm
I ain't gonna
saying?
say no male's
You
not
know,
in the picture, but
Some of them coaches.
primarily the mama is making sure he gets around to these certain people. So
Word,
I will
word.
say that. But you know,
Man.
at the end of the day, I don't think it was just based off just that alone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would tell you, you know, as you been, how your father, you know, been there most of your life. Like you said, with the whole sternness thing. Like you said, the worst say, what you say? The worst that your mom would say is that she's disappointed.
Yeah,
disappointed. Imagine your father saying that to you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it hit different.
It definitely is different, bro.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. Now he didn't say those exact words verbatim. However, yeah. All right. So one thing that my dad did, I did something horrendous. Basically, I did something as a kid. I think I had been about 8 or something, you know. But I ended up telling my dad, you know, what I did. He was coming through the garage, and I was in the kitchen. I was actually waiting for him to come in the house so I could tell him. Because, you know, I was taught, man, you know, hey, honesty is the best policy, right?
Facts.
So I told him what I did. No, I'm sorry. Now that I think about it, I know exactly what I did.
Oh,
It was after, yeah.
Okay.
I know exactly what I did.
Stop trying to play footsies.
It was-
bro.
Anyways,
Wait, what? Hold up now. Oh, alright.
Ew.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, we was coming back from a soccer game. I had this new lunchbox that I have for my lunch and things in between games. I ended up leaving it at the park and didn't realize I left it until we got to the house. Right? So, yeah, I mean, brand new lunchbox too. Insulated and all that. Yeah, nah, it was the good shit. Yeah, the good shit.
Damn.
Left it at the left it at the park, at the rec park that we played at. Realized that I went into the kitchen. Dad was coming into the garage. So I ended up telling him, Dad, I think I left my lunchbox at the soccer place, or at the park. He literally looks at me, and I see it in his face. He's flustered, but he didn't say anything. And he literally just turns around and goes back into the garage. And I actually remember him starting his car. So I'm thinking he started his car to go back out and get it, but he just didn't say nothing. In my eyes, right? In my eyes, my little pea brain. This dude is mad at me. Right. He's not talking to me. And, I would like to think that, and still to this day, me and Dad built up the relationship where it's like, I can talk to him. We're always going to talk about something.
Right.
That day, though, he did not.
It was nothing.
He did not want to fuck with me that day.
Yeah.
You know what it was? You want to know what fucked you up?
What's that?
He probably told your ass to get that lunch
Probably.
before y'all left.
He probably
It was
did.
probably the last thing he said
That was the
before
last
he got
thing.
in the car.
Go get your lunchbox.
All right, I got it already. It's
Yeah.
on my back or something like
Or
that.
something, which I, of course, 8 years old, I'm thinking that's what it was, because my imagination is pretty vast. I've already thinking I grabbed it. We come home, ain't shit on my back.
Shit.
Like,
Oh, okay.
all damn.
I
Right.
spent about $40 on that.
I don't know if it was 40, but like I said, it was some good shit.
If it was insulated,
It was up
it was
there.
up there. It was up there.
Might have been. Might have
The early
been.
days.
Yeah. Right. So yeah. I knew right then and there he did not want to fuck with me. And I was so hurt. I was like, you don't want to talk to me? Like, Daddy. Like, hey, you ain't want to pull the belt out? Like,
Come on, man.
Like,
Go fuck yourself or something.
right. Damn, like, he did not want to fuck with me that day. And he got the lunchbox.
He got it back.
He did get
Thank
it.
God.
He found it. But he still went the whole day without talking to me.
I can't believe you said that shit. I told you.
I done told your ass
My
to get this
gas to go right back up there and get that motherfucker.
right. I don't even think it was just the gas, because the park wasn't far from the house. But of course, it's just the inconvenience of, nigga, I told you to grab the
We
shit.
made it home.
Right, we made it all the way home. And now you tell me
he
it
was
was
in the car.
right.
I
As I
just
said,
realized we could.
my 8-year-old brain
Yeah.
is saying that, yeah, this shit's sitting right next to me in the car.
Right.
So, yeah, man, so he ended up getting it, got it back, and but yeah, he did not talk to me for the whole day. I was like, dog, Dad,
That hurt.
please,
Jesus, I'm running away.
right, like, damn.
Don't leave me.
That's
Don't
okay.
leave me.
Were y'all
Man,
staying in
like-
Livingston Willows that then?
No,
Not 8 years old.
no, not at 8. Yeah, I don't even hit.
You was-
I was, so it was like, man, he did not want to talk to me. I'm like, you don't want to put me on punishment or nothing? Like, no.
I gotta drive through the bad part of town. Then I gotta get through the park. Then I gotta come back.
I bet you it was nighttime. But what?
No, middle of the day. It was middle of the day.
Boy, I'm
It was
about
middle of the day. No, I wasn't nighttime.
Behind this motherfucker.
My pistol real quick.
It wasn't. Yeah, nah. It wasn't nighttime. It was the middle of the day. You know, but
he probably ready to lay it down like, oof, you know,
yeah,
because
he ain't had to. I don't think he had to work that weekend, so he was like, okay, we gonna get these.
weekend off.
Yeah, yep. It's like, yeah, you know, gonna get these soccer games out the way. I'm gonna be there, cause you know what I'm saying. Like, I got you,
Right.
or whatever. But yeah, I left that lunchbox at the park, man. Dude, I was like, shit. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you can't do that shit again, bro.
Right.
Like you can't.
I
fucked up. Like you fucked up. You are 8 years old. It's time for you to be a man.
Shit is crazy.
You know, right. It is time for you.
years old. What's up?
Right. You need to be a man now.
Yeah, tighten up.
Tighten up. You know, apply for every single job that's hiring right now.
How many jobs take an 8-year-old?
Right. You know, like you
a
need
couple of
it's gotta be a couple.
Well,
jobs
you
out there.
finish the application. Like,
Right.
answer these questions.
Yeah, I answered them anyway.
So I found a way that.
Right. I found them. No.
Bank
Yeah.
account.
might be a man.
Hey.
I gotta do something.
I had to do something. I was like, bro, I gotta earn this man's trust back, just to say what's up.
Right.
I was like,
Man,
man,
that respect from a father is a big
Yeah.
thing. Where you lose that respect, you just like,
you might as well die. Like you just,
No, you might as well die.
Like man, it was that heavy. Like
I
man,
feel like that would work with a mom too. I feel I don't know to what degree.
I'm not saying
but I
that
feel
it
like
would, yeah.
silence
Right.
over getting beat is always worse. Because at
Yeah.
least you know
Yeah.
when they're mad, they're showcasing their emotions. But when they're silent, it's kind of like, damn, they done.
They
don't,
done
like,
with you.
They done
Right,
with
that's
you.
what I'm saying.
I feel like that's what any parent. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe for most people silence was, worse, but
It was because when you got your ass beat every single day, you still did what you did. So honestly, it didn't work.
I was saying, man, it was multiple. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just no.
So
It ain't just no whooping from your mama with me, man.
no,
I
I said
had
silence is probably worse than a
Yeah.
whooping.
a whooping, but for me, it would be like 4
Okay,
whooping.
as Teron
Okay,
said,
you got
at some
enough.
point,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
At
about.
some
Yeah,
point, he
yeah,
felt like,
yeah.
damn, beat me.
Right, like I was
Yes.
asking for that.
I was mad.
Right, I don't get it.
You had to go
leather
get that.
braided belt
At
for
that point, he's
clothing.
like, I'd rather be physically
Yeah,
beat at that
I
point.
picked the thickest part of the tree branch.
No.
Like, I was
ain't
like,
even
man,
getting the switch, man.
I
I'm
got
getting
the
the
whole
whole
wheel
right
I'll uproot the whole tree if I had to.
Shit, beat me with the tree stuff.
the
I don't give a damn. Come on.
Bro, the minute that he took his silence with him, like, just left me right there, I felt ass naked. Like I was like, what the hell? What do I do?
Go up to your dad with a stitching cord, like, come on, man.
Man, come on, man.
Just one time.
Just one time. Like, let me know you still care.
I like going to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom is weird.
Show me you still care.
You still
At least
love
when
me.
you whoop me, I
Still
know
on
you
top
care.
I know you care because you're taking your time and energy to.
Exactly. And
Do
you
that
don't even
before.
really,
But like you said, he
Bro.
kept it on quiet. Like you see him in the
Man.
hallway. Hey, Dad.
Man,
Damn, who the hell was that? What was that?
bro,
We got
Yeah,
a kid.
that's-
man.
Hey, baby, I think we got ghosts because
Oh,
something
They
just called
say
me
that.
dad in the
Oh.
hallway, and I don't know
They
what
say
to say.
but that's some hard work stuff. Like, oh, baby, did you hear something?
Yeah, no.
I keep hearing it. You hear that? Like,
Right.
He's
Yeah,
trying
nah.
to talk to me.
I didn't say
I
that.
was there when I was a kid.
But trust me, yeah, I'm sure he would have wanted to say that at that point. Man, yeah, I was like, man, look, Dad, I thought about what I did. I got me 2 jobs, man.
I got like this.
Look, you ain't got to worry about writing the
You
one.
ain't gotta
no more.
write
I
it.
got it.
I got it.
Man,
I got 2
Years old.
full-times and
Hey.
a part-time. What's
man,
up?
what's up?
You
Right.
gonna talk to me today? Yeah, how are you? Go get
Yes,
you
you go
go
to bed. Dad, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about all that.
Come to
Oh,
bank.
I'm a
God.
man now. Like,
We're gonna figure this out. Hey,
Oh, man,
Mom,
Come here real quick.
Right. Like, man, you got school tomorrow. I mean, it's only 3 hours of sleep. It's okay. I'm 8. Like, I'm 8.
All of it.
Grown ass man right now. I'm 8 years old. What you talking about?
I'm the daddy. I'm grown.
Right.
I might as well take him to get my license. You know,
Hey,
I'm supposed to get to these 2 jobs.
Feel me? Like, man.
You know, Sappy in your lap. We're driving a couple times.
Hey.
I held that steering wheel good.
Right. Hey, man. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough, man. I was like, all right, from that point, I didn't ever want to get to that point. Yeah, to get to that point with my pops. And it's funny because my mom's the same way too. But I don't know why it's just different, you know, from the moms.
Two different parent styles.
Yeah,
Yep,
just two different parent styles.
Because, you know, you got some parents that are more, you know, militant than other ones that are not so, you know, as militant or whatever. And then you just had those instances where it's like, dang, you know, Dad don't say a whole lot, but when he say something, you got something to say. And then for him to be like, hey, I ain't got nothing to say to you, like, hey, bro.
Right, like, nothing.
Nothing.
Dog, come on. Like, and for the viewers, you know, my daughter, she was just doing something. You know, all I said was, hey. Her whole face was about to implode. Like,
poking out of
poking out and everything.
Like, getting ready to let it go.
Bro, like, the water was just ready.
Right here at the surface.
Boy. Small stuff like that, man. Just as a parent, bro, like, you like Silk has brought it up before, man. Like, sometimes you got those, hey, it'd be something small, bro. Yeah. It was just oh my.
Yeah.
Like, girl, come on now. All I told you was to sit down.
That was like,
what's going on?
That was a stirred voice.
That's all you got. Like, all I said was, hey.
A man's voice is more intimidating than
man.
I
didn't even try though. Like, I just said,
you don't
hey.
have to. Your voice is naturally deeper.
Bro, look, I'm gonna say this real quick before we close, man. Like, I remember I went to my little brother's school, and y'all know I've always been in my little brother's life. Anything he's got going on, I've been there. Yeah. So I think he was like in 3rd grade or whatever. I mean, the whole class was acting reckless, whatever. Teacher was trying to get them under control. I'm probably like, shit, 20 at the time, whatever. I'm like, hey! Everybody was just whoa, shit! You know, I'm like, hey, all right. And I took that one stride. I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This the new teacher?
Yeah.
New teacher?
Whoa,
no, we ain't fucking with everybody shut up.
Sneak up on us like that. What's wrong with you?
I'll tell you what, any teacher JD had, like, when I came through, they knew what was up. Like, we got man in the room. Hell yeah. I'm 20 years old. I ain't even quite drinking, but I'm a man.
Hey, sir, anytime you want to come in and sit down with the class, feel free.
It was fine.
Dude. I ain't say all that.
Yeah, that's what my dad got. Hell, they let that man walk in the room, just sit there.
Oh, man. Wow.
You must have been bad.
No, I wasn't bad. My dad was just coming to eat lunch with me, but he was the deepness of my voice and where it can go. He is magnifying times 100, boy. Like he say something, that voice rumble, boy. Like that shakes you to your core. Oh, okay, hold up.
Yeah, all right.
Shirt.
Yeah,
like,
shirt. So
pull out the tie.
What he's saying is he's Morgan Freeman, but his dad is
James Earl Jones.
Boy, that voice was rumbling. Like, roaring, boy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like facts. Like, he ain't even got to say much. Just one sound.
What's up?
What happened?
Y'all should hear my granddad, my dad's dad. They sound alike. My granddad's a little bit deeper. My dad ain't too far off.
Right.
Me, I practice, but still, I can teeter totter from. Right. Yeah, with that, you know, like. But nah, my granddad, I'm like, shit, is this Barry White? Like, damn.
My darling.
Some women being loud with a woman.
Oh,
A grown woman. It could be a man's voice raised could be intimidating.
Yeah.
Of course. To a child.
Right.
You ain't gotta do much.
You ain't gotta do much.
One syllable. One syllable and a look. That's all it takes.
I got on the bed this morning. It looked like she was about to cry. Came up to me. She was like, "Yeah, Daddy. So I had to use the restroom, and I got to the bathroom and everything, but people were And
Oh.
I said, Zay, you are way too old to be peeing on yourself. She was like, I took them off and I put them in the dirty clothes hamper. They should dry, right?
Were they wet or did she like? I
This
was
was
almost
today.
late.
They were wet. They weren't like soaking wet, but they were wet.
Like,
they
innocent.
were wet. I told her, I said, man, you were way too old. I pointed at her too. The girl was like, it's gonna be all right, right? You don't have to
But
tell
that had a lot
mommy.
to do with, I was just about to say that had a lot to do with me. That's why she said you won't tell mom.
Yeah, you don't tell mom.
I used to discipline her on that. So
Yeah.
she was scared because she thought she was going to be trouble.
He ain't gonna tell mommy. I'm like, girl, you alright, man. Even if I tell her you alright, man, you only pee a little bit.
Because I used to whoop her
Mm-hmm.
for that. So she already knew off rip.
Yeah.
That's just training. That's what it is.
Hey,
But,
you like that?
Bro, let's go ahead and
It was
close
an
out.
episode.
Well, it was. It
One
definitely
hell of an
was.
episode.
Was an episode, man. This has been another episode of Corner, man. This has been episode 23.
Jordan.
And I think we had a real good discussion for it, man. Like, you'd be surprised most of the topics that we, well, at least for me, I don't know are going to be that great. And then we end up getting into them. It's like, oh, no, we actually had some stuff to say. You know? So, like I said, it's been another episode of The Corner. And like I said, a lot of what we talked about in this episode will pour into, more likely pour into our episode after the next episode, which is going to be episode 25. And that's going to be called Dancing with the Devil.
Yeah.
So, you interpret it as how you want to. And then next week, we got our most controversial episode ever. It's gonna be entitled Juwanna Man. So if you've seen the movie,
Juwanna Man.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Right.
You know, but we're definitely gonna have some guest stars in. We're definitely gonna, you know, it's gonna
Pull
be hot.
up.
It's
Pull
gonna
up.
be a definitely pull up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hot debate, man. But I'm ready for it. I know these guys are ready for it. They love stuff like this. Me, I just know I'm gonna get canceled soon.
No, you're not, man.
I'm gonna be like,
Get an email. Excuse
right,
me, sir.
excuse me, sir. We didn't quite like what you were talking about, so
It's
Deal
good.
with it.
What Mr. John Lewis say? It's good trouble.
good.
It's good trouble.
This is good. Okay,
This
all
is
right.
good trouble.
Needs to be said.
All right.
Yes.
So
We gonna leave it at good
we're
trouble.
gonna leave it in good trouble.
Good
Just
trouble.
leave it there. Y'all
My
just,
God.
if y'all want to see it, y'all just tune in. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna go from there. But just to end it off, man, it's been another great episode of Corner, man, full cast and attendance. And this has been episode 23 of The Corner, Nature versus Nurture. So we hope we gave y'all enough, you know, information as far as what it really means as far as being in the nature and nurture aspect. But like I said, it's been another episode of The Corner. We thank y'all for joining us. Have a great night. Peace.
Cover your six.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
Ready?
Wow.
And hold on, wait. Episode 23.
Three.
Yeah. Michael Jordan.
I'm Jordan.
Jordan episode, goddamn.
LeBron James.
Ooh.
Oh.
Y'all sleep.
Get out
Y'all
of here.
sleep.
He's not
Get out of
better
here.
than
Y'all
Jordan.
sleep. Get out of here. I bet you
He's
excited
not
as fuck for
better
that
than
movie too, man.
Jordan.
Hell, y'all about to watch Space Jam 2? Y'all niggas ain't gonna be in there
I
watching?
mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
But it ain't better than Mike. It ain't better than Mike.
What is he?
That
It ain't better than Mike.
That shit
3-8
gonna
in
be
the
fire.
finals.
He ain't gonna put that long stretch.
Okay, but the nigga Mike ain't made it to the first finals in 8 years.
I don't give a
in
fuck.
his first
He's
8
6
years.
when he
So
got
y'all
there, though.
just gonna clean
He's
that
six-
shit up?
He's 6
Y'all
for
just
6
gonna-
when he got there,
Y'all
though.
just gonna sweep.
Hate mailed the crap out of Toriyama until he came back.
Yeah.
I actually wished in Super they would have made TN a little bit stronger.
Because T is bit by dude.
I know, yeah.
That tried.
And I wish
that
they
tried
would
to
have
be
put
canon.
fucking, why they didn't have fucking Yamcha?
Yamcha.
Going
I
off
know
with the
he
Wolfang
sucked.
Man, I'm
but
saying.
At least let him show off a little
You
bit.
feel me?
Yeah.
And so yeah, make Yamcha great again, bro.
Yeah.
Cause he been down since
He
Dragon
was that
Ball.
dude in Dragon Ball,
And
like
then instead of Master Roshi, man, shit, they should have had Boo in that bitch, bro.
or something, or Oob or something. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
somebody, you feel
Yeah.
me?
'Cause
I don't
they-
think Oob, well, technically, if you go by timeline, Oob wasn't born yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But then again, you never
That's
mind.
true.
Yes, he was because Majin Buu was there.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so he had to be
Yeah.
there.
You are. Yeah.
So what the fuck?
He
He would have done better than Gohan.
Facts.
Come on, man. Yeah,
Bro, they played Gohan.
Gohan did. He held his own.
Against
held
some
his
robots. Like, okay,
He held
that's
his
old
own.
scary. Like, no, he ain't do shit, no, man.
He held his own in the tournament.
Against some little,
But you know
like,
how
not
long
little
it
robots,
took
they
for him
big
to
robots.
crank up though? Like it took him a minute to crank up.
He
And
was
then-
like, we was like 10 episodes deep in the tournament
Yeah.
before he cranked, bro. Like,
Yeah. Frieza had to do it, and you know how much Frieza wanted to kill this nigga.
Well,
Like,
Kaba went off though before he got knocked out by Frieza.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that he. Frieza ain't have to do bro like that.
No, I ain't talking about that. I hate the fact that Vegeta almost lost to Kaba.
that's just
A fucking kid.
That's because just Vegeta did the same thing Goku be doing, be like playing around with him, like, oh, okay, you see what you got, and then he turn up and go almost Super Saiyan 2. Then what?
But still, man, they just be showing preference to Goku. over Vegeta.
Yeah, because Toriyama hates Vegeta. He openly said that.
I just saw that. Then why create him? Why
He,
create
he
him?
was a temporary character. He literally was supposed to die in his saga, and then he got hate mailed to death for them. To
Because
bring him
Vegeta
back.
was that nigga.
He was.
Yeah,
When
that's
the
what I'm
moment
saying,
he
and
killed
I'm
Nappa,
definitely a Vegeta fan.
the moment he killed Nappa, I was like, oh, this nigga's serious.
he was like, oh, weakness? Get out
Right.
of
I
here.
was like, oh, this nigga Vegeta real.
Yep.
I wish it would have kept Raditz. To be honest with you.
I don't know. I think I like Turles better.
I like Turtles better than Raditz.
that fruit of that tree of might.
Tree might, yeah,
Boy,
that was wrong. That was
nigga,
wrong.
Take a bite of that fruit.
Oh, shit! Cut shit.
Look, you need to get you some Dragon Ball
Yes,
Z.
you
So
do.
it's too late.
You do. No, it's not.
It's never too late.
That
We're
scene
not
that I
saying it's too
showed
late
you-
for the Star Wars shit.
Right, exactly.
That's
And
different.
Dragon Ball
That's easy to
Z.
catch up on.
No,
It's easy to
It's
catch
more
up
hours.
on
More
Dragon Ball
hours.
Z.
Not, okay, there's
It
more
is
hours.
more
Yeah,
hours.
but I'm saying there's at least get into some of the key moments. Like,
I mean, like I said, I've seen enough to where I can appreciate it, but
but
You don't
Super and all that too.
yeah, right. You watch Super.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's what I'm saying,
you got
so-
a little bit.
But you
You
gotta
watch
think about it.
the
I
movie.
didn't
You see the
have
tournament
paper
though.
when I was a kid.
You seen the tournament of power?
I once had
That was the
when they was on that
evolution.
concrete platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, I've seen
So
certain
you
things,
saw
but
Ultra Instinct Goku?
no, I didn't get a chance to see that. That's fairly new. Right.
No. Yeah, but that happened at the tournament of power.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the concrete stuff.
You
You
ain't
talking about
get-
cell
no,
games?
I'm talking about-
That's
Oh,
You
cell
talking about cell
games.
games?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Nah, you need to watch Tournament of Power.
Tournament
Yeah.
of power.
That's
20 years ago, bro. Like, literally. Like,
Tournament of
That's
power.
that's when I was into
Yeah,
it.
like
I
I
was
said,
like, oh,
he didn't have Dragon Ball Z growing up.
Tournament of
I didn't.
power got the best Kame.
I had
was on
Tsunami.
Dragon
I had
Ball.
Tsunami.
I was on Dragon Ball from a young age. I had the whole series of everything. I got it for a birthday gift. All of it.
Tournament
You
of
were
power
fortunate.
got the best Kame.
you like it at
in
age.
the world.
Oh no, this
You like
shit-
it that age.
This shit wrong.
That damn
Y'all-
Godzilla boys.
Y'all don't listen to me,
That's it,
man.
bro.
I'm
Fuck,
saying.
That was the
Holy
best
shit.
Kamehameha
Ever,
in the
in
whole
DBZ
series.
history.
Ever.
So Khalifa.
Point
Yeah,
blank
boy, nigga.
Kefla.
That Kefla.
Point blank.
Like the
Right.
nigga, he slid
Yeah,
on
this
it
nigga
with
did
his Kamehameha, like
did
her
a whole
power.
flip.
He slid on her power with
Did
the
a whole
Kamehameha,
flip.
did a flip right at her face.
Right in her face.
Oh,
Shit. Because
Oh,
it was
bitch,
so
you know
wrong.
you dead.
Yeah. No.
It's me and my homies.
Done.
Me and my homies was watching it on the phone, like when it aired.
We watched, yeah.
Yeah, I was at work when I was working graveyard shift USPS. But we was trying so hard not to yell, so everybody can
Right.
It was so
everybody
fun.
can hear us.
It was so fun to triple take that.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
yeah.
like-
They played it
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
Come back. One more time.
Oh
Man.
When we say point blank range, like his palms was like right near her face, bro.
Oh my! See, I would have to watch it to see, cause that's how I am with Demon Slayer. Like when he chopped the demon's neck off, that shit had me.
Yeah,
That shit was
yeah,
like,
Yeah, that shit was
Man, nah, but that commandment, that was vintage Dragon Ball Z.
how many times we talked about it in chat?
Silk.
How many
Oh,
times have we
silk.
talked
We
about
don't exist.
So,
until the
yeah,
last
we
one.
don't.
Why do y'all say y'all don't understand? I just be
It's the
sleeping.
weak,
Bro,
bro.
you don't exactly.
I be tired.
Right. But-
See, Olivia get what I'm saying. He like, he be tired.
You the deadest in the world, bro.
We don't exist.
Friday at 6 o'clock here. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's going on, guys? Coming through.
Friday at 6 o'clock.
Nah, I be surprising y'all sometimes, bro.
What, that one day you took off?
Right, that one
Right,
day.
hell, I'm off. What's going on, guys?
And
Nah,
We're
y'all
working.
sleep.
We're still
Right. Working.
We're actually working. I'm sorry.
After that, like, shit, so I
I
ain't got
can't
shit
wait
to talk
till I
about.
get me a 4-day-a-week job that pays $35.
That's what I got.
I ain't got that shit.
I'm working towards that. That'd be nice. I just want to work for myself. You know,
We're getting
I'm
normal
tired of
week. It's
bullshit.
Monday through Thursday for us. Optional Friday, Saturday.
As soon as General Mills said, "Hey man, we'll take him in, bro," I'm like, "All right, bet."
General Mills is 1887.
20.
Oh, they
2006.
What you
boosted
applying
it up.
What you applying for?
Technician.
Really?
Yeah, same.
They got levels of tech. Well, they start, but they got levels of technician.
Manufacturing tech. Yeah.
Huh.
Jesus,
Oh,
y'all
2006. Yeah, you must be coming straight in. A lot of people I know is like, lower than that.
14 straight.
I
Yeah.
guess 20.
I
think it said
14 kids, 10.
Oh yeah, that's
Ten
right. I
to the
remember
tip
that when you first
Seven,
started.
oh, for tip service.
When
They
I
might have
I
updated-
knew
they might have updated.
no, when I went at the turn service, it was 850.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 850. And they
Sound about right.
boosted it to 10 when Charlotte started working.
Right, the
Oh,
solo
okay.
cup was like 825.
Somebody I knew over there was making. Well, I don't know. I guess they said they was making 14.
They're probably lying.
Yeah.
Unless they boosted it up for real now, they probably could.
I need that 20.
Is it?
I need that 20.
20,
That's
boy,
what
I
I need. I need
Girl.
that 20.
Stop mentioning that.
Just to
Corey.
start off.
I've never seen
Start off
20.
on the right foot.
Never seen
I
20.
need 20.
Alright,
I haven't
so-
either.
Closest I got was 1950.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Tip, 1950 is a tip.
That's, no, not the closest I got to $20 an hour was 1950.
Oh, I'm about to say, what
My
tip
closest-
service you go through?
My closest was 16.
And tip?
No, just working.
Oh,
Yeah, as far as pay rate goes.
damn. I
16.
mean,
Girl, you are so cute.
I need that 20.
So cute.
I hit 18 at Nature Camp. I was
Yeah.
at,
I got a
what were we-
$45
What were we
tip
at when I
today.
left SGD?
Let's go. Let's go.
What
Hey,
were we
nah,
at
it's
when I
not
left
good.
SGD?
Damn, that's
Where
crazy.
was you at?
hold up.
Yeah.
What'd you deliver?
Pizza?
How many boxes?
At special pizza?
The order came up to like 40 something bucks.
It was 55, 40.
55, 40 something.
And he
And
gave me
45
$100. Gave me $250.
Whoa.
Can't
Here you
keep
go.
the change.
Keep the change.
Keep the
Hey.
change.
When he told me, I said, okay, your total is, he said, it's 50 something, right? I said, yeah, 55, 40 something. He said, all right. And it's going to be more than that, so I'm going to give you a tip, but I didn't think you.
Oh.
White guy, wasn't
Had to be.
he? It had to be white
Right.
guy, wasn't he?
He was white.
Mm-hmm.
He worked,
Of
it
course.
was at his job. He worked at an automotive place.
Oh shit.
Oh, you
yeah,
already
yeah,
knew.
he's
Yeah,
on.
them niggas banging.
Got that mechanic change.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
He be making.
And they be doing side hustle work too.
Like,
Yeah.
Come
I
on,
wish
She's
shit.
like, oh, and they charge you 400.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a
Yeah.
mechanic around me when I
Like,
was
shit.
shit. Boy, I'd have took off on that shit.
That's gonna be about $350, boss.
Right. Like, I mean, I'm already straight just off the shit that I've learned on my own. But like, if I had somebody around me that was mechanically inclined, oh boy, I'd have took off on that shit.
Kelsey Winder. Yeah.
He welding now. ain't he?
Yeah, he welding.